In that sense, reform-minded Muslims are at least as authentic as traditional Muslims and quite possibly more constructive. What is not so constructive sometimes are the corporate interests that try to suppress these reinterpretations. And I will tell you, since this is an audience of people who love books and love reading and love freedom of thought, as I do, that I'm ashamed of the way in which some publishers in the United States are backing off from supporting reform-minded Muslims. Not so long ago, 3 young Muslims in this country submitted a manuscript that was initially accepted by a major publisher. A manuscript that amounted to the first reformist translation of the Quran. In other words, it took all of the traditional English translations, which are pretty conservative, pretty orthodox, deconstructed them, and then compared them to what a more progressive translation of the Quran might be. As I say, this major publisher accepted this manuscript. It should have been out a while back. And then, upon receiving some condemnations from traditional Muslim scholars, the publisher decided that it was going to be afraid of the Muslim backlash and dispensed with the contract. And so these 3 young Muslim Americans, far from being discouraged, have gone with a much smaller publisher. And God willing, and Freedoms of America willing, they will be out with this reformist translation of the Quran by this fall. I don't yet know what the title of it is, but for those who are interested in getting a copy of it, email me through my website, irshadmanji.com, and I'll put you on a mailing list so that you'll be among the first to know how to support this book. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Last question. Okay, I'm going to have to go to the back, sir, but I will stick around for more questions, 1-on-1, 5-on-1. Okay? Yes, sir.
This was a book that I just read, a memoir called Lipstick Jihad. I just wondered if you read it and what reaction you had to that book.
I have not read it, sir, I'm afraid. But precisely because I haven't read it, I now have time to answer the final question.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Ladies like you, thinker, writer, and the lecturers, contemporary world, today Muslim ladies, is it very concerted efforts on the part of among you to have put that progress, with some kind of efforts, or some ego plays the part not to get into this kind of thing?
Another provocative question. First of all, thank you for calling me a lady. That's among the nicest things brown men have ever called me, so thanks very much for that. Very politically incorrect to say, I know, but what the hell. The question is there a concerted effort to bring contemporary, female, modernist Muslim thinkers like you together, or are you all so full of your own egos that you're going to work individually? And the serious answer to that delicious question is that there is, in fact, an effort to bring us all together. As a matter of fact, I'm happy to say that a couple of years ago, you may or may not remember, an African-American Muslim professor here in the United States led the first mixed gender prayer within the world of Islam to be led by a woman. And it created such a debate around the Muslim world that no less a figure than Muammar Gaddafi felt the need to weigh in and condemn it. That was a boon, because what it did is it lifted the lid off of the debate about whether women can, in fact, lead not just female prayers, but mixed gender prayers as well. Now, what happened as a result of it is that a year later, so just last year, Muslim women, contemporary modernist thinkers, got together in New York to commit to funding 10 other Muslim women around the world to become muftis. And a mufti is among the highest stature that a Muslim can have. It's far more interesting than an imam. An imam simply leads a prayer. Frankly, you don't need brains for that, okay? But a mufti is a combination of lawyer, priest, and judge all rolled into one. And so they are funding 10 Muslim women to become muftis who will in turn go toe-to-toe with the most respected, conservative male muftis in the Islamic world.
Thank you very much.
Once again, individual acts leading to greater acts, leading to what we hope will eventually be a movement for the progressive reform within Islam.
Maybe later I come when you are writing them.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So get there any information about it.
Okay, and again, you can come to my website for all this information and more. Now, thank you, sir. Now, I promised you that I have a bit of a surprise. And no, it's not a visit from Salman Rushdie, I'm sorry to say. I know, I've grown along with you. But it might even be a little bit more entertaining. As somebody who has come to appreciate the theory of unintended consequences, I cast my mind back to what it is that we were taught at the madrasa. And of course, among so much else, we were taught to learn by rote, to memorize, rather than think critically and enjoy fluidity. Well, I'm glad, in a sense, that I developed the skills to memorize because it allowed me as a child to commit to memory my favorite poem of all time, a poem which comes from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And it's sung by the Oompa Loompas, right, the midgets in the factory. And the reason I want to recite it for you